Welcome back to another episode of the $1 Million Body Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Nate. Today we're talking about running and why it sucks and why I would never recommend that my clients start running if they are starting off on a weight loss journey, okay? So, quick caveat. If you love running, if running is your thing, if you get the endorphin rush, you get the runner's high, it's just really fun for you. I know there's a lot of people in the group who do like running, and that's not me. It's just not for me. So if you like that, great. I love that you like something physical that gets you out of the house, gets you breathing, clears your mind. That's terrific. Here's who I'm talking to though. I'm talking to someone who thinks, fitness, I need to lose weight. What does that guy do in the Rocky movies? What's his name? What is he always doing? Oh, running. That's right. That means I should probably go out and run as well in order to lose weight. What is like the one thing that we always like, everyone's always running. Oh, I have to run in order to be fit. I have to run to be healthy. And I'm here to tell you right now, you do not have to run. There's no need to run unless somebody's chasing you or you got to catch a bus. Shout out to Seattle. There's really no reason to go start running or become a runner in pursuit of fitness. There are so many different ways to develop a high level of fitness, vibrant health, all the qualities and characteristics that you want without going and slogging it out for 3 miles and putting a lot of stress on your joints. So the reason I think that running is negative to me is because of this mindset that a lot of people have around it, that fitness is equal to running and therefore I must run if I want to be fit. If running was this fringe activity that people did and they were just out there running and everyone was like, whoa, that guy's running? That's so strange. Then I wouldn't care. But since this idea is so prevalent, it's the reason I rebel against the vegan diet as well, is that people think vegan diet, that means it's healthier. That's going to be the route I need to go to get in shape. Again, not true and not the best option. So I'm all about trying to help you figure out the best option for you. And if you like running, if running is fun for you, if you go out and run marathons because, let's be honest, there's probably something wrong with you, but great. I love that for you and I want you to keep doing it. Don't listen to the rest of this episode, probably. Actually, you might get something from it. Who knows? So running is tough because when someone goes out, especially if they're untrained, they haven't run in a while, and they think, what's a good distance? 1 mile, 2 miles? I don't know. Let me just go out and run. They probably are not very familiar with the footwear. They're probably not familiar with how their body's going to respond to starting to run again. And they're probably not familiar with correct form and function of running. Running is the most injurious exercise, the form of exercise in the entire United States. And the reason for that is people go out thinking that running's just running. How hard can it be? People run all the time. And they don't realize that there are complicated movements and patterns and correct musculature development that most of us don't have if we haven't been running for a long time and have just been sitting at a desk, working out at a gym, doing some resistance training, hitting a CrossFit class here or there, doing bar, whatever else, that you just have not developed those muscles that are going to keep us safe long-term. So I would highly recommend, if you're like, hey, I want to get out and run, running's a goal of mine, I want to hit a marathon, it's always been on my bucket list, that you go out and you talk to a specific running coach who can watch your gait, help you figure out how to move better, run better, and then learning from a professional like that, then go out on your journey. I would never suggest that if you haven't run in the last couple of years, that you just go out and run. Will you be fine? Maybe. Probably 60% chance you're fine. But there's also a good chance that if you do it more than a few times, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna get a low back, knee, ankle, hip injury, something like that, that's going to keep you from getting more into the fitness that could have been the goal of you from the beginning. And if your primary goal is fitness and you took the running route, then you're going to delay your progress and hold yourself back. So that's one of the big things that I have against running, is that it just causes more injuries. It causes more people to have just go out and hurt themselves, end up with pain that takes them a while to get over. For a while, I was getting into running. I had actually bought some of those. I don't know if there's a book called Born to Run, I believe, that extols the benefits of barefoot training. And so back in 2011, I bought a pair of Vibram Five Fingers, the toe shoes, right? And I was like, born to run, let's go, barefoot running. Who doesn't want this? And I went and I ran, I think I just did a mile around my house. And the next day I did like a 2 mile or 3 mile. And the next day I fractured a bone in my foot. and couldn't run for 8 months. So not saying you're going out with toe shoes on, but just saying that this is a common thing that I see with a lot of people who go out to try to run recreationally for fitness and end up hurting themselves because they didn't respect the run. They didn't respect that it's an activity that needs some coaching, that you're probably not doing at a high level, and that if you want to do something like that, then you need to go out and find someone who can help you do it at a better level. Same reason you shouldn't just go into a gym and be like, Olympic lifting, cleans and jerks, never done that before, let's load them heavy and go hard. It's just not, it doesn't make sense in the long run, because what you want is the result from your fitness, but you're not going to get it if you're spending time on the couch nursing an injury. So summary there. If you don't like to run, don't run. If you do like to run, great, keep running. And if you want to run but haven't started yet, find a coach, someone who can help you out. Now, let's get to the running sucks part of this, right? So one of my clients was telling me, he's like, man, every time I do this, it always hurts me. And I was like, you don't have to. He's like, great, because running sucks. EK, if you're out there listening right now, this is for you. So in that vein, I want to talk about 2 different ways that we can get similar results, a higher level of fitness, better health, more energy, less body fat, without actually running, but still moving our bodies. The first one is walking. Walking, I would put on like the easy side of the spectrum, right? If running's kind of right in the middle of that jogging pace, well, the walking's over here on the left side. It's easier. Walking is something that we do naturally as humans pretty well. One of our big superpowers as humans is the ability to walk long distances without stopping. We're just good at it. When we walk, we put our body into a really nice natural rhythm of kind of this cross patterning, which is a great way to reset any like low back pain you've been having. Make sure that your hips are opening up, keep your body like elongated, put yourself in a good postural situation. It's just really great for the total body and your whole musculature of resetting, taking a deep breath. Also, if you're out walking, you'll find that after a while, your head just naturally clears. You are able to partition out a lot of the things that have been bugging you, especially if you're feeling a lot more stress, anxiety around the world at large, or your work, family, whatever else. Going for a walk is a great way to alleviate stress from a mental perspective. From a physical perspective, walking is an awesome way to burn fat. You're not going to be burning a lot of calories, but you're going to be burning some, and the majority of them are going to be coming from your fat stores. Walking is a low impact activity, and fat is a low impact fuel. It's a great way. It's a good way to merge those 2 things. Also, in Ayurvedic culture, in like the Indian culture, yoga culture, they have a word that means essentially 100 steps after your meals. And what the idea there is that every time you eat, go on just a quick walk, a short walk, just 100 steps is all they ask for, and come on back. And there probably wasn't a lot of science at the time to back this up, but now we can see that when you walk after a meal first thing, you can help actually partition the nutrients that you ate during your meal into better locations, which means you're going to put more of the food you're eating into muscle glycogen stores. You're going to help your body digest it and process it a little bit better. And you're going to keep your body from storing more of the food as fat than if you just went from kitchen to couch. So if you can take one of these 2 options, either doing a bare minimum of a 30-minute walk every single day. An hour walk will help you lose about 1 pound of fat per week. If that's an hour walk per day, will help you lose about 1 pound of fat per week, all other things being equal. So that's a great way to start, but a minimum of 30 minutes per day is an awesome way to keep your body feeling really good, clear your mind, de-stress, and burn fat. There's no lose there, okay? And that's also something you can do with your family. Bring them out on a walk. You can do this after work. You can do it before work. You can do it meditatively with with no music. You can do it with a podcast. No, I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but there's a lot of different options and they're all good, okay? So walk, don't run. You don't need to do it. Running sucks. The other great option here, especially if you're someone who's like, I would like to reclaim some of my former athleticism. I would like to have a better cardiovascular base. I would like to feel like I can accomplish anything, whether it's going up several flights of stairs, hiking a mountain, getting on a surfboard, just feeling more able, having the ability to say yes to any sort of athletic pursuit that you're invited to do or you want to do with your kids or your family or whatever. If you want to burn more fat and maintain more muscle, if you want to even build up muscle, especially in the lower body, and if you want to reveal your six-pack, your abs for the summer, then this is the best option for you. Sprints, specifically hill sprints. So the complete opposite side of the spectrum. If we're talking about walking being like level 1 of 10, then sprints are level 10 of 10 and jogging's level 5. So ditch the level 5, go 1 or go 10, go big or go home, and do hill sprints, okay? So sprints are great. Doing them on a grass or a track is an awesome idea, but especially if you're not sprinted in a while, which is most of us, if you're looking to mitigate some of the pressure on the lower body, reduce the risk of injury substantially, and burn a lot more fat, hill sprints are the way to go. Now, hill sprints are awesome because putting yourself on an incline where you're forced to run uphill will automatically fix your running form in a lot of cases. So think about this. If you take someone into a gym and you put a barbell on their back and you say, do a back squat, they squat down and it looks horrible. That's being more like running on a track. Again, if you haven't had a running coach, if you haven't had someone watching you sprint, like it's a very difficult, there's a low chance that you're going to do it really, really well your first time. Now, on the contrary, think about a goblet squat, taking a kettlebell, holding it in the front of your chest, and then squatting down, sitting down onto a box. It's another awesome exercise, but the chance of someone being able to do it right off the bat is substantially increased. Just because you've installed 2 different ways for that person to be successful by giving them the front load, keeping their torso a lot more erect, up and down, and then giving the box to sit back and down onto. So it's like giving yourself like 2 different insurance policies to make sure that you are going to be doing the exercise correctly. A goblet squat to a box is also going to have a much higher reward with a much lower risk, where a back squat is going to have a pretty high, medium reward, but the risk is also substantially increased. Same with a hill sprint. A hill sprint slows you down. It encourages proper running form because you have to lean forward, you have to drive your knees, you have to pull your toes up. So even unconsciously, without even thinking about it, you're already going to be doing a lot of the activities that you need to do because of the biomechanics of running up a hill. And then also slowing yourself down is going to limit the chance of you pulling a hamstring, hurting your calf, tearing an Achilles, anything like that can often happen with high, like extreme repeated stresses on a flat surface. So if you're just getting back into this, a hill sprint is your number 1 go-to, okay? If you're someone who's looking to get really ripped for the summer and doesn't want to lose a lot of muscle, you want to just lean down, maintain a similar weight, but reveal your six-pack, this is your best option. So let me go through a couple specifics on what you should be doing, what you should be looking for, how you should warm up, and how you should cool down from your sprints in order to get the most out of them. Step 1, find a hill, okay? How long? Well, I like a hill that's going to take you about 10 to 15 seconds to get up, okay? Also you don't have to use the full hill. If you're talking about like a city block, use about a half of a city block. So 50 yards in American. Something that's going to take you about 10 to 15 seconds to run up. And then what we want to make sure we're doing is now warming up before we even get started. So a good way to do that would be taking like a 10-minute jog to get to the hill. Do a quick bike ride on the way over there, something like that. Then once you get to the hill, I would like to see like some lunges, 30 lunges on each leg. I would like to see about 30, 40 jumping jacks, kind of bouncing off the balls of your toes, or so you can just kind of do a jump rope. That would also be great, getting your calves and ankles warmed up. And then I would do a side-to-side lunge, so just staying in one place. So you're stretching, strengthening, and mobilizing those hips, so that way you're ready to go, okay? There's a lot of other sprint-specific drills that you can do. I don't think that for most purposes, you don't necessarily need to be doing them, because it really doesn't matter how great of a sprinter you are in order to get the desired results. That being said, there's amazing sprint drills out there on YouTube that you can look through, and I can provide some resources as well if you need them. So if you get that warm up, the general warm up of a 10-minute jog or bike, specific warm up of lunging, side lunging, jumping on your toes, either jumping jacks or jump rope, and then get a little bit of like a hip flexor stretch, either a kneeling hip flexor stretch or a standing one. Either way is fine. Just make sure that you're feeling good and getting ready to go. Now, after you've gotten your general warm up with like the stretches, the workouts, the 10-minute run, etc., then we're going to start on your first hill. So basically the first hill is going to be just a jog to the top, about 50%. If you can go, if like a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 5 on the way up there. Okay. Easy. Should feel like a little bit like you're slogging through it, depending on like the incline of your hill. But you shouldn't be moving that fast at the top. Walk on back down. And then next time we're going to go about 60, 65%. Okay. Again, the goal is to work up slowly because it's going to be hard no matter what. I would just much rather have you start off super, super slow and then grow into these. Okay. So now I want to stop here because if you're someone who's athletic, you've been running, you've been doing activity, and you're just adding in hill sprints, it's kind of new for you. Then at this point, we can start going into like the 80, 85, 90, trying to sprint faster and faster and faster. If you're someone who's got carrying more weight, if you're a guy and you're that 240 plus club, then here's where I want you to stay. I just want you to push that 60%, do about 10 rounds of that, not really trying to go too fast, just building up to it. You're going to be sore tomorrow. You're going to be. Your calves, your ankles, your hamstrings are going to be really sore. And that's okay. That's no big deal. But I don't want you to be injured or push yourself too far to the point where you can't necessarily recover for the next time you do these. So first time back, just get that 60, 65%, stay right there. Okay. And then the next time you can add in some of these new things, working up to that 80% or so. Okay. If you're someone who's ready to push to the limit, or this is your third or fourth time sprinting, then what we're going to do is you're going to go 50%, 65%, 80%, 90%. And then after the 90%, that's where we're going to try to push to that next level. That's where we're going to try to get to our top speed. But you notice that we're doing that on our fourth, fifth round. We are not trying to just jump into this and just start beating our bodies with a 90% top end sprint. And the chances are, if you haven't been exercising, if you haven't been doing sort of workouts, runs, plyometrics, anything like that, you don't even know where your top end is. What you think is 100% is probably closer to like 85% for you. So just be gentle with yourself, take it slow, because you could always come back and do it again. And in fact, I would encourage you to come back and do it again. To maximize your fat loss, especially if you're trying to get really good shape for the summer, get beach ready, I would recommend doing between 2 and 3 times per week. My current schedule is this, because right now what I'm trying to do is I worked up to my heaviest weight, and I'm trying to now maintain my muscle mass, lose fat without necessarily having a lot of weight come off. So I'm trying to go from about 14% body fat down to about 11%. And sprints are magic. I'm already about 2% down. And what I've been doing is I go upper body workout, lower body workout, upper body workout, sprints, upper, lower, upper, sprints. So I do my sprints every 4th day, which gives me plenty of time to recover from that type of specific activity. Now, here's a pro tip. If you want to get better at sprints, get a little bit more flexible, and are okay being a little bit more sore the next day, what I want you to do is at the top of the hill, walk down backwards. Put your hands on your hips. Make sure you see where you're going. Touch your toe down first, and then lower yourself down slowly to your heel. What we're going to be doing with that is creating what's called an eccentric motion on the calf. So we're going to be stretching out the calf as you go down. So you're going to get better ankle flexibility. You're going to stretch your calf more. And oh yeah, tomorrow you're going to be stupid sore. You're going to be really sore. Okay. So as long as you can handle that mentally, if you're like, hey, I'll try it, but I don't really want to be that sore, just do one. Just do one of your reps, walk down backwards, maybe 2. If you're ready to take it to the next level and you want to really develop some of that raw athleticism and come back next time and be stronger on your hill sprints, be faster, be more athletic, then do it. Yeah, do it for every rep of your working sets. You walk down regular on those early warm-up sets. So we covered how long should the hill be? 50, 60 yards, 40 yards? Something's going to take you 10 to 15 seconds to get up. How often should we do hill sprints? 2 or 3 times per week in a season where you're trying to really shred belly fat. 1 time per week if you're trying to maintain your athleticism. 0 times per week if you don't want to lose fat. What should my recovery time be at the bottom of the hill? Well, now hill sprints have a lot more in common with a 1 rep max, 2 rep max squat than they do with a jog. So that being said, you need to make sure that you are giving yourself adequate rest time to go back and do those. So in that case, I think a 2-minute rest time is pretty much a minimum. So making sure that you are basically not really breathing like super hard, you're not out of breath, you're not exhausted. You shouldn't be like bent over at the waist being like, oh God, kill me, before you start your next sprint. Let it come down a little bit. So take as long as you need to. How many reps, how many sprints should you do? Not counting the first one, I think you should do between 8 and 10 reps. Another great way to figure this out is to set a timer for 20 minutes after you finish your first warm-up jog, and then do as many as you can, giving yourself the rest you need in that 20 minutes. When that 20 minutes time's up, you're done. Move on. Now, what's a great thing about that is you can see your progress over time, because the first time you might only get 5 sprints. Next time you might get 6, 7, then maybe 8. So you get better and better by adding more volume into a shorter amount of time, which is showing that your cardiovascular fitness is really improving, going through the roof. But also you're going to feel better. You're going to be able to, you're not going to be out of breath going upstairs anymore, which I know is an annoying thing, especially if you're like, man, I'm strong. Why am I out of breath going up these stupid stairs? Prepare to get rid of that, because that I know will just make your life a lot better. And then, so we talked about hills, how long, how many should we do, how many times per week, how much rest should we take. I think that just about covers it. And in terms of recovery, what I want to go into next, and if you have any other questions, please just let me know. We can dive in a little bit deeper. We talk about this a lot in the $1 Million Body group. So if you're not a member, make sure you join in there. N8trainingsystems.com/group will get you there. So recovery for these, you want to make sure that you are definitely doing a cool down. So whatever you did at first, like that jog, the bike, whatever, do another 10 minutes of that, just kind of like a slow pace recovery jog or recovery bike, something that's going to let you kind of come down from that high intensity. And then I would definitely take a foam roller or one of the Theraguns or Thrive guns or anything. I use the Vibe, and work on the muscles that you worked. The muscles that you worked are going to be the calves. They're going to be the anterior tibialis, which is a funny muscle that's in front of your calves. It goes right next to your shin bone on the outside of your shin bones. A lot of times that'll be sore and you'll be like, why is that sore? But it's because you have to pick your foot up and pull your toe up to your knee as you're running, especially on a hill. You have to pick up. You're going to feel it in your quads. You're going to feel it in your glutes, especially the outside, and especially if you've not done it in a while. And especially if you're in that 240 plus club, you're going to definitely feel it in the outsides of your glutes, because what's going to happen is you're going to use a lot of that musculature to stabilize yourself and drive yourself up as you're going off of one leg. You're basically putting all your pressure and all your force onto one leg as you drive up. So a lot of stability from your glutes and your core there. So, and then your hip flexors will be a big one too. So make sure to stretch those out, and because it's really hard to get a gun in there. If you can get a massage, so much the better. So afterwards, do a 10-minute cool down. I would probably stretch the hip flexors, the quads, and the calves. And then I would use the massage gun or the foam roller on your calves, anterior tibialis, front of the shin, quads, glutes, hamstrings would probably get you done. And then if you want to take this to the next level, because if you're already doing hill sprints, then you're obviously a badass, because hill sprints are not easy. And that's why most people don't do them. That's why most people don't have six packs and don't drive fancy cars and make six figures, because those things are hard to do. So if you want to take yourself to the next level mentally, then it's a good time for an ice bath too. So, if you want to grab an ice bath and do it in your tub, awesome. If you want to just get in a cold ass shower after you finish, also awesome. Make sure you point that nozzle at your lower body and enjoy that. So once again, running sucks, but hill sprints are awesome and walking is awesome, especially if you are looking for physical adaptations and changing the way your body looks. If you want to lean down and you didn't do anything besides sprint, hills, and walk, you could get a killer body in time for summer, even though that it's June right now. So obviously throw on some resistance training on top of that, and you're well on your way to making big changes. So if you want more tips like this, more things that are going to help you get to the point where you're feeling your best, looking your best, and being able to do whatever you want to do, which I think is a very important characteristic, especially in a man, a father, a husband. I think that just being able to say yes to those things makes a big difference in our mentality. So if this is you, make sure you're part of the $1 Million Body group. Once again, that's N8trainingsystems.com/group. We'll get you to the $1 Million Body group. And if you have other questions, feel free to hit me up. I'd love to be a resource for you. and help you get those changes and make those improvements that you've been wanting to make. All right. Hope you have an awesome day. Thanks again for listening to the Million Dollar Body Podcast. If you've enjoyed this, drop us a like, hit subscribe, or leave us a review. Reviews are an awesome way for more people to find out about us here at the Million Dollar Body Podcast. And as always, we try to strive to give you pertinent information that's going to be helpful for you where you're at in your life. Hope you have an amazing day.